Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 12 of the Galaxy Podcast. Today we are joined with Golden. How are you doing today, my man?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, that's no problem. I've seen you in the community. I've seen you compete. I've seen the team and stuff like that. I just really wanted to get you on here. I wanted to have everybody hear about you, and I've heard talks about you before too. So I've always wanted to get you on here and obviously talk to you.
Oh, well, I appreciate that so much. Yeah, no, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I always am surprised when people hear about me in the community. That shit is always like a big shocker. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always the best. Obviously, I've only heard positive things about you, but like sometimes sometimes if you say one guy's name, all you hear is negative stuff. You don't hear nothing positive, and it's just pure negative. But all I've heard is pretty good things.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Love that my name is good. Love that people actually enjoy working with me.
Oh yeah. So how'd you get into esports?
Okay, so it started like during COVID mainly. It was like 2020, 2021. It was my sophomore year of high school. And yeah, I'm young by the way. I'm like 19, and I am
I'm
young.
19 too.
Oh shit. Okay. But yeah, it was my sophomore year of high school. I remember I was a fully online student. Like I think they had like both in person and online that year. I was fully online. Um, and my high school, like the online kids generally, they made like their own esports club.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my first like exposure to it. Like I had heard about esports before, but that was my first time like actually getting into it. Um, the club was like called the Wild or whatever. Like it wasn't officially affiliated with the high school, but it was ran by students of that high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I got into that in 2021. Stuck around there for about like 5 to 6 months, and then was like, "Fuck!" Like I had issues with the manager and owner and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go do my own thing." That actually, the organization I made after that. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot.
It's all good.
But it was so I made my own organization with my buddy Max, which was called Nexus, and that esports organization did nothing, like absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so eventually I didn't like leave that one. I still was like, okay, I'm gonna own this, but I got into Call of Duty competitively, and like in Vanguard, I think it was like first week of Vanguard. I was like, fuck it, I want to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Acrylic, which was owned by a different owner at the time, had actually reached out to me and were like, "Hey, we want to give you a tryout." I got on their roster as like a substitute, um, and it was I was there for a little bit, and then the original owner was like, "I'm actually gonna get rid of like he's moving on from Acrylic," and that's how I took ownership. And from there, you can kind of just see the story how it unfolded, and I'm sure I'll get into that more later on in the episode. But yeah, that's like a very brief synopsis of how I got into it and how I got here.
That's pretty damn good. So uh, when in high school, were you? In my high school, we couldn't play Call of Duty. Like any gun games, we couldn't play.
Yeah.
So, what'd your high school have? Nothing.
I think we had Overwatch. That was like our one FPS game, but I was ass at Overwatch. I competed. This is stupid. We had like a Minecraft esports thing. That was my shit.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Would you play
Um,
Hunger Games?
and that was like Bed Wars,
Oh, okay.
Sky Wars, that type of thing. I remember the league was like I think it's AVGL. I think they're like a big high school league. They run with like actual high schools.
Hmm.
Um, and they hosted like Minecraft things. I think they also have like Warzone now and all that, but like they didn't at the time. Um, but yeah, it was for that league, and yeah, it was just I played Minecraft competitively, and it was fun. I mean, I never was amazing, but it was enjoyable.
That sounds like. I feel like a lot of PCs would just destroy at that. If you played console, you'd just suck ass.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I was a PC player. I smoked kids.
I just can't even imagine. I've never heard of Minecraft competitive. I mean, I've heard like weird competitive games, but I've just like Roblox competitive. Hell, if you go on like Roblox streams, like one of the top streams is literally the football streams of people playing football against each other.
Yes,
I
I
wait,
see clips of that. It's crazy.
I did lie. There I have seen a competitive thing for football for Minecraft. Now that was the most rigged stuff I've ever seen in my life. And if you thought WWE was rigged, holy, that was a whole different ballpark.
I didn't even know they had that.
Well, they did like tiny leagues and like not, it wouldn't even be on like actual like Bedrock servers. It'd be people's personal servers. So they'd like build like the whole stadium and like I talked to a guy and he was like,
Oh shit.
"Yeah, it took me at least like 6 to 8 hours to build this thing." I'm like, "God dang!" And like
God
they'd build an
damn, yeah.
actual stadium and a lot of them be like cheap where it only be like four things of stairs. It looked like some like small high school, and then you go to some guy that's like they've been the national champ for years, and then they have a fully enclosed dome. I'm like, dude,
Oh my gosh.
what do you do in your life, bro? I'm like, do you just play Minecraft football at this point?
Yes.
And there'd be no mods. You'd be throwing a snowball at each other, and then it's so weird. And
That's very funny, actually. I
I
can't believe
compete.
I hadn't heard of that.
I've competed on it once, and I said, "This ain't for me, bro."
Oh, that's funny as shit. Actually, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I mean, the environment's fun, and like they do drafts and stuff, and I do enjoy like the. I think the Roblox game is a lot more fun. I have played the Roblox. I've never competed in it, but I've seen it's a lot more fun in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I played that a few times with some buddies. It's
Yeah,
enjoyable.
it's enjoyable to play, and then especially when you get randos on your team, and then you get two people to vote him as quarterback, and then they throw the game. I just had a game like that the other day. I was playing with a group of buddies, and one guy came in and he had like he bought where you can get extra votes to be quarterback.
Oh, what the hell?
So he bought it, and so he had 3 votes automatically. Then his buddy voted him, so he was quarterback, and he sucked.
Oh my god.
And it was a close game. It was like 52-49, and he just threw the game. And then we ended up losing like 70-52.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
I'd be pissed.
oh, I was pissed because we were playing against my buddies too. It was 3 buddies versus
Oh yeah.
3, and then they joined our team in the middle of the game and just screwed us.
That fucking sucks. Yeah, no, that's horrible.
That was bad, but
That's the downside of that game. That's the downside
it's a
right there.
downside to almost every game, really. I mean, if you're playing ranked and you're running with 3 buddies, and then you have a random join, and
Then
they
you got a
just
shit random, yeah.
and
It's
they
over.
just suck ass. It's just a whole different ballpark.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, speaking of that, as like an owner, it's been kind of hard to keep players, hasn't it? Or have you struggled with that yet?
There's been some instances where it's been difficult for sure. Um, I would say notably, I think Call of Duty, that's just a big issue. Especially when you're not like at the very top of challengers. Keeping players is a very big like problem, I think, just in general in the scene. And I think I like obviously you can attest to that with Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like that is a massive issue that you do run into. Um, I think the big thing is it's difficult to like really break down, but like it's just a lot like players are gonna go and do what's best for them and like take the opportunities that's best. So whether that's joining like a bigger organization or whatever, um, and that like makes sense. But at the same time, it is a very big issue for us as owners,
Mm-hmm.
to like have to deal with that because you think that you have one roster locked down and then they'll switch up on you, and that has been like even an issue even in like certain LAN events. Like now, Acrylic has become significantly more established. Obviously, we'll probably talk about like Columbus later on.
Mm-hmm.
But like the roster we had in Columbus, that just shows how far Acrylic has gotten. Um, so thankfully, that's not as big of an issue for us with like lands. But like in challengers, yeah, that still is a massive problem where we will see like rosters that we think that we have like leave after an event for another organization. So like that can be a real problem.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, but I actually owned my own esports team. It was Frosted Vipers. I'm just a general manager for Galaxy. I kind of help out with. I don't really focus on their team. He has his hand in like leagues and stuff, so I've been kind of helping him out with the leagues. So I don't really touch on that much. But I was the owner of Frosted Vipers for 2 years, and I did that back during COVID when I was high school, and
Oh wow.
that was I'd be recruiting players left and right, and I'm sure you got people asking like how you're so young and you're running the team, and I got it a lot. I don't know if you did or not.
Yeah, no, I've definitely gotten that a few times. At Columbus, a lot of people were like, "How are you 19 and doing this shit? Like, what the hell?" Um, yeah, you hear that, especially when you're young.
Yeah, I had it. So when did you take over it again? I'm sorry.
And acrylic, 2021, 2022, roughly.
Okay, so
I
that
think it
was
was I think it was like 2022. No, 2021. Yeah, 2021.
yeah. I started Frosted in 21, and then it ended in 23, because I had roster issues. Because I kind of spread myself thin, and then I was having roster issues through every game, and then I just had to cut it off. But um,
Yeah.
I really got it a lot when they were saying how young you are, and I didn't know you were that young, being 19, running that team. But it's kind of a commitment. A lot of people
It
don't
is.
want to commit, and people think it's easy, and you're going to join and create a team, and then it's people are going to come to you like flocks, but people don't stay, in my opinion.
Agreed 100%. And I think that's a big thing in esports in general. And I think that's why like you'll see a lot of like organizations, especially smaller organizations like fold.
Hmm.
Because they get into it thinking it's going to be super easy to like grow. And then they realize it's a long-term commitment. And that it's like like honestly financially, esports is a very bad idea financially. And I say that
Oh
as
yeah.
someone that dumps money into it. Because you're rarely, if ever, making a profit. Um, and a lot of people don't realize that when they get into it, that like it's just a money dump kind of, and it's a money sink. And like, yeah, if you succeed, it's worth it, but you have to be prepared to lose a bunch of money in like events and all that shit. And a lot of people don't realize that. And I've made countless Twitter threads about that, being like, before you get into esports, please like know this because I like it sucks seeing organizations and like players and all that get screwed because the owners aren't aware of those risks beforehand.
Oh yeah, I definitely back that. A lot of people don't know. Like, if you want to, one thing I did in high school, I didn't invest a lot of money into it. I don't. I think I maybe invested like $5 or $10, and I was trying to make a team without having to invest a lot of money, which it was pretty good for a team not investing any money, just playing like
Yeah.
free online tournaments and lands and stuff like that, gaining money, having players donate to the team, helping out. That really helped out the team a lot. But like, if you want to get to the next level, you really need to invest money into it. And there's different levels you got to climb as an owner, but that's one of the big ones is investing. And I can really back you on that. It can be a money dump, because if you don't dump money in, you're not going to go to lands. People aren't going
Yep.
to fund themselves, because if you look on Twitter, people are saying need funded for land, need team to fund for land or whatever, all
Yeah.
over Twitter all the time. You're just not going to get it a solid team without doing it. Uh,
Yep.
but when you get a solid team, it's pretty good. But it's just the funding. That's why I kind of went from owning a team to streaming, because streaming, you already have the setup. You just
Yep.
have to uh, find the niche and then keep going with it. That's how I've really, and then you get money from it too. You can create merch, get money through merch and advertisement, gifts. Then you can. Streaming's really the best way to go if you want to get into gaming, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I think content largely is the way to go, both as like an individual and also as an organization. Like I think that's the best way for both.
Oh yeah, you got to invest for. One thing I didn't do is put out content as an org, and that's kind of one of my biggest regrets. That, and I didn't market very well. My marketing strategies weren't very good. I just didn't know how to market at that
Yeah.
age, and then now I can market pretty good, and I kind of market my social media and stuff. And doing that, it's really because I've gotten into business too in real life. So with business being a product into it, I can really push that marketing strategy a lot more into social media and help grow my social media. And that's one thing orgs struggle with too, is trying to get that social media growing, because that's the first thing people see.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think you look around and a lot of organizations, all you'll see is like them retweeting tweets, and that's it.
Hmm.
Um, and that doesn't look good on a profile. And like I say this as my team has done a similar, but like we try like I think a big thing is making sure that you actually are pushing out like clips, even of your own creators, like push out clips. Also make actually interesting posts. I see a lot of people try and do like the interaction date type posts. I don't think those work that well. That's like my personal take. I think you have to make actually interesting posts that are unique, and a
Mm,
lot of organizations don't do that really when they do post. And then also take advantage of like events that you're at or whatever. Like I'm sure if you saw with acrylic,
mm-hmm.
um, like when we were at Columbus, every match that we had, we posted like in person clips from and all that, like covering, hey, this is like what just happened, and like making it an actually like something to pay attention to. I think a lot of organizations struggle with that. Like that's a big thing for me. Where and like my organization, where we're like we gotta make sure that we are covering everything the best that we can. Whether it's a league match, whether it's a LAN, whatever, we got to give it the best coverage that we can and run it as professionally as possible because that one reflects really good on the org. And two, it also makes people want to actually follow it and like pay attention to what's happening. Um, and it builds that player relationship and that viewer relationship as well. It's just great.
Oh yeah, and going into like the videos, if scientifically, like TikTok has really done well with it, and if you scroll and it's 15-second short video, you watch it, and if you don't like the first 5 seconds of it, you're scrolling already. So you
Yep.
really got to get that attention grab as soon as you start the video. You can't wait for it. You got to get their attention as soon as the video starts.
Yep. 100.
And,
percent
and people see that, they go to your Twitter, and it's a professional looking Twitter. They're going to be like, this is rather a bot or this is ran very professionally and they know what they're doing, which
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's not a bot, obviously, but they are going to think, if I join this team, what if I could be sitting in that chair? What if I could be getting these videos pushed out on me? I could be pushing that. And I right before I watched a video like that you have pinned from 6 days ago of you winning the Black Ops 6 kickoff. That probably was great to see starting off the season too, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, 100%. That whole event was awesome. I have the trophy right here. I
Hell
was
yeah.
gonna show it off on the podcast anyways, but yeah, here it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. The whole event. Shout out Cheeto. He knows how to run events. That man, like Premier Circuit, all of them, they're great at running events. And yeah, the entire thing was just an amazing experience. Um, there's like there's a lot I could say about that, but it was just an absolute blast the whole way through. And also getting to work with that team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for those who aren't aware, I'll just list off the roster. It was Mercules, Dak, Arcides, and Neum. And to work with those guys and like stay in the same house as them for an entire weekend and like really get to know them was absolutely amazing. And finally winning a championship that I was in person for, um, was amazing, and being able to bring home the trophy as well, surreal. Um, Acrylic has won, I think, like let me just double check. I don't want to say the wrong number. 6 events. This
Hell
is the
yeah.
first one I was able to attend in person, and like see with my own eyes. So, absolutely amazing experience. Um, and yeah, I mean the moment was just super surreal, and it was awesome.
So do you guys really focus on in-person lands, or do you guys do online tournaments too in leagues?
Largely, we do lands. Which I know isn't like the most cost effective thing, but
Mm-hmm.
comparatively, like, so let's say you run like a small league, you're not getting that like viewership. Whereas we go to like, well, what me and L2 do, which is the co-owner of Acrylic,
Mm-hmm.
we'll try to like go to like 5 or 6 lands a year. But out of those lands, we're gonna make it like a whole weekend of coverage, like full cover this team, and get the most out of it. Whereas like with those small leagues, you're getting like on those broadcasts, you're getting like 30 viewers. For lands, you're getting like 200, 300.
Oh yeah.
So although it is more expensive and less often, you're getting more viewership out of it and more eyes on your organization than you are with those online leagues in many cases. Outside of like the really premier ones, like back when the Amateur World League was around, we were in that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because that was such a big league that like got eyes on us. Um, so that's why I always say like go for the big leagues. or go for like leagues that have potential if you're gonna compete in leagues. Otherwise, I personally just say go with lands. I think they're the best route.
Yeah, I think me personally, I just never went to lands much. That was just because I was younger, obviously trying to support a smaller team. But obviously, lands is one of the big things because if you can go to lands, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to get the exposure that you don't think you're going to get, and then the connections you can get with other owners, other players. Obviously, like you said, the coverage you can get videos, and heck, you can get videos with you guys just hang out in the house and like it's almost like you enter the house, you start recording day one, and you meet each other in the house, and you start recording. It's almost like you could start getting videos from day one, in my opinion, and really put it out there that you can really do some damage in the competition.
Yeah, 100%.
But speaking of Black Ops 6, how did other players really adapt to the new movement?
Ooh. Hmm.
Was that a big factor into the tournament that you were at?
I wouldn't. I don't actually think it was. Um, I don't think many people use like the omni movement aspect of like diving and all that as much as you would really have expected. Um, like I think I maybe saw a few kills where like that was a like contributing factor, but largely on the competitive side of things, it looked like it was being played the same way it always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, largely, I don't think the gameplay like change up of BO6 really impacted the competitive world as much, I think, as people would have expected.
Yeah, for me, I didn't know if it was going to really like change everything to be super fast paced and people are going to be running SMGs and really coming at people. But what I've heard is the SMGs are very balanced, and I've seen that too. That they are pretty balanced when coming to the new movement in ARs. That ARs is kind of the way to go in this game. Obviously, I've seen SMGs still dominate, but ARs has really been the way to go in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't played, honestly, personally, I haven't played too much Black Ops 6. I got into it recently because I installed it on my Xbox. But from what I have played, like I prefer the AR for sure over the SMG. Just in my opinion, it's better. But I'm also a guy that likes playing at range, so SMGs normally aren't the style for that.
Yeah, I've never really I've never played Black Ops 6 as much as I thought I would. But obviously I have other stuff going on, but I thought I would have been playing it a lot more. But to be honest, it's just I don't know, it's just not my gig really. I mean, it's kind of growing on me, but it's slowly growing on me. But a lot of people I've heard that they really like the game or it's kind of slow getting on them. I haven't really heard a lot of complaints about the game to be honest with you, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. And that's good for Call of Duty in my opinion.
Oh, agreed, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you don't have any complaints, then you're doing pretty good. Because people that play Call of Duty always have something to complain about.
Yeah, especially with the last few titles not being exactly the best. I think the biggest complaint I've seen on Black Ops 6 on at least the competitive side is just like the maps kind of suck for competitive.
Mm.
Um but like for the general audience, I think this game has received a lot of praise and I think deservedly so. I think it's a very fun game overall. Um the only thing I haven't checked out yet on it is zombies, which I have to. I've heard really good things about it. So I have to get on that, especially given that zombies is like my mode.
I've actually never heard anything about the zombies yet. I haven't tried it at all. I haven't heard a single word actually.
It might be because I'm around like the zombies community more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I've heard really good things about it. I really haven't seen too many complaints, which is rare with the zombies community because they compare everything to BO3, and the
Mm-hmm.
problem is like that zombies is like looked back on so nostalgically where people are like blinded by it
Mm-hmm.
and are like this game is perfect, so they compare it to the modern titles and it never ends well
Oh
for
yeah.
the modern titles. But I have seen a surprising lack of like issues with this new zombies, which gives me a lot of hope.
I have seen that you can save where you're at and then leave and then come back to it. I have seen that,
I
which
have as
is
well. That seems dope.
which is really good going into zombies because if you start looking at uh, old games, you'd be on level like I don't know 100 or something, and then you got to do something, and you're just gonna die because you can't pause it or anything,
Yeah,
and
which always sucked.
it's always sucks, and you have to have a crawler and have somebody run with the crawler and stuff, and it's just not fun. But now you can leave and save the game. There's going to be a lot of records broken, I feel like, with the new zombies mode, if that's going to be a thing.
Oh yeah, probably. There'll probably be you'll probably see like some insane high rounds. That's what I would expect out of that with the saving.
Hmm. Now, I seen that you did have your own podcast. How is that going
Yes.
for you?
So that's been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the one that I host, right? Yeah, Two
Mm-hmm.
Nerds One Cast.
Yep.
Yes, that's been on a little bit of a hiatus. Just because so my co-host, he lives in the UK. It can be
Okay.
a little bit difficult, like scheduling, wise. Plus, like life has been super busy. Um, but overall, that podcast really good. Anyone that wants to listen to it, it's Two Nerds One Cast. Um, it's a pretty good podcast. Personally, I'm definitely not biased. Um, but yeah, no. So it's been on a little bit of a hiatus. We do plan on bringing it back. But mainly that like covers gaming news. Honestly, just news in general about like the online sphere. So like whether that's games, movies, like what's it called, like creator news.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like when Doctor Disrespect got like initially outed.
Oh yeah.
We made a whole video about that. That is still probably my favorite thumbnail that's on that channel. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, no, I mean that like we just kind of cover whatever's going on in like pop culture at the time. Um, and yeah, I highly recommend it if people are interested in that.
Yeah, I kind of steer away from news, especially while streaming. Like last night, people were trying to talk about the election. I try to like steer away from that.
Oh yeah, keep
Yeah,
out of politics
I'm
is
like,
my best
I'm
advice,
like, I like
especially as a
talking
creator.
about it in the Discord. Like, if we want to talk about it in my Discord, like in general chat to have like a conversation, that's fine. But like, for streaming, I'm not trying to debate while I'm in the middle of a game. You know,
Yeah,
I'm trying to play, and then like in a podcast, nobody wants to hear that. I mean, they'll go to political podcasts they want to hear, or they'll go watch the Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump, or go watch the podcast with Kamala Harris that she did. I don't even know who the hell the girl was that she did it with, but
yeah,
she did it with somebody. But still, they'll go watch one of their podcasts, and that's good enough for who it's for. I mean, they don't want to hear people talk about their opinions on stuff. They just want to. They want to come to a gaming podcast. They want to hear about gaming. You know, I mean,
100% agreed.
and
Yeah,
like on your end, you talk about news, you might want to hit on it and be like, hey, Donald Trump won the election, and how do you feel about that? I mean, leading up to the election, you could post one like before the election, one after the election, but like me personally, that's the most I would do for politics when it comes to that for
yeah,
news.
we try to avoid politics. Like I said, ours is mainly like pop culture based. So like mainly just gaming, movies, creator news is typically what we talk about. Because oh boy, politics can get messy, and that like I always try to avoid that, even on my own like Twitter and all that.
Hmm.
Which I know can be super difficult because a lot of people like being very political on Twitter. Um, but like I've always felt like that politics is like a thing that like generally you should keep to yourself. Like keep your beliefs to you. That's my mentality on that.
Hmm.
Um, and that's kind of why I always try to do with like my content and everything. Like keep the political shit out of it. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to be funny. I'm here to like, especially on the podcast, like just give news about like what's going on in gaming, give our personal takes. Y'all don't need to hear about my political beliefs. That's not a big thing. Like y'all
Exactly.
can. That's not important.
Exactly. And like people in the stream, they were just kept going on and on. I'm like, hey, we're not talking about politics. We're in the middle of a game. I'm like, I'm not trying to
Yeah, I'm
debate
playing Call of
politics.
Duty right now, bro. I'm not trying to do this shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in the middle of a game. I'm like, hell, I'm down like 3-4. I'm trying to come back here, you know? I'm not trying to talk about.
Riley, come on now. What are we doing?
I said, we're throwing here, we're selling. I'm like, come on. There's just no coming back from that either. And then once you start it, it's just never going to end, too, until
Yeah.
you start a new topic. And then people get butthurt. Heck, we touched on it in the Discord chat just a little bit. Because I kind of have a community in the Discord, which I'm blessed to have a 600 member Discord. I think we just hit 600 just the other day, and
Hell yeah.
We touched on politics just the other day, and hell, we had one guy leave because of it, because he was upset about some other people's opinions on politics. I'm like, you just can't bring politics into it because people get upset about, which obviously I can't control, and people shouldn't get that upset over politics. But still, I mean, that's why I like to keep politics out of that, because that can cause backlash on streaming, or heck, if I had backlash because of it, it could lead to my podcast, my streaming, or it could go towards Galaxy, since I'm a general manager for them, and it could
Yeah.
always have backlash on them. So you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
And
I I think I think it will just always divide. Like that's why I try to avoid it. Um, like I know personally for my content, I always try and have it be like a positive place where people can go to kind of like forget about the real world.
oh yeah,
Um, and like politics is very much so real world shit. Um, so I've always just tried to steer clear of it because of that.
yeah, nobody really cares. They want to come and they want to watch your own stuff. So
Yeah.
uh, touching on that, do you stream too as like a content
From
creator?
time to time, yeah. From time to time, I used to do YouTube a lot. Like I used to upload like weekly. Um, I plan on getting back into that. I don't know when that will be exactly. But yeah, from time to time, I'll like load up the stream, just like hop on some random ass game that I want to play. Just like basically just be there for to vibe. People come along, that's great. And like just generally just have a good time, chill out. That's always been my mentality with content and everything.
That's really how I am. I mean, I've started to gain like a community where like I go live and I have about 20 people come to stream, which is pretty
Oh,
good.
that's awesome. Hell yeah. That's
And
great.
it's usually the same people. Sometimes there's people that's in and out every other stream, but mostly it's the same people every stream. And they come in. One of the big things I do is playing with viewers. So that really gets a lot of people coming in the stream. And then helping grow the community in the Discord. And then if they can kill me and like, oh, here we go, trash talk starts, and then
Yeah.
it's just a lot of fun interacting with your viewers too. But
Agreed, 100%.
especially playing with them, and like playing in bigger lobbies, 12 people lobbies, and hell, just even playing Roblox is fun with your viewers too. And people actually look forward to you going live every night. Um, like I go live at 9 o'clock every night. I go live for 3 hours, and even though I don't earn a lot of money, I mean, heck, I just dedicate that time to me playing video games every day, and
Yeah.
I get to enjoy myself, and I get to talk to. I don't really call them fans. I really call them friends, to be honest with you, because that's really what they are.
It's awesome. Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, that's the right mentality, in my opinion. I think people that get into content for money is like, you're getting into it for the wrong reason, in my opinion. Like to me, I've always viewed my content as like a passion project type
mhm.
thing. Um, I think that's what it should always be. Like it's a hobby of mine, and I'm there to make people happy and all that. I'm not there to be like rich as shit. Like if that happens, great. But
Yeah.
I'm there mainly to like be a positive force, and I'm happy that like your content's like in that same vein, where like you're there to entertain, be there for your viewers, like have fun, all that shit. That's what's the most important in my opinion. That's great.
Yeah, I love having fun with everybody, and it's great. Obviously, the jokes that go around too, and people that's been there for a while. Hell, I've been doing it for about a month or two, and people's been there since day one. Like I have a guy that he was one of the first people that started watching my stream every day. I remember having just one viewer streaming live every day, and he started coming in, and it was two viewers every single day, and he was there, the only guy there. And then now we're uh, 10 to 20 people. I go live on TikTok and Twitch, and he's there every stream. And I said, "This is the OG Jeff. That's his name." And he's my mod for Twitch. I'm like, "This is OG Jeff." And then he used to clutch up a lot. I'm like, the downfall of Jeff needs to be studied and stuff. And everybody loves that, because then the pressure gets onto him, and then he always loses. And oh, it's just great.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing.
But really doing a wraparound, but going back to your team, have you really seen like what's the biggest difficulty since you've been owner?
Oh man. I'd say mainly I'd say probably one funding, but that's always gonna be an issue. But on an organizational thing, I would just say kind of like consistency. Like I think generally we are consistent in terms of like the caliber of our teams. Um, but it is like you'll see some months where we're like super event heavy, and then some months where there's like nothing, absolutely nothing going on. And that is like a big thing that we're trying to get better at. Where there's like we want to always be like at least playing in a league or something, or like having something new to announce. And I think that's something that we're working towards a lot. But I'd say it's probably one of the bigger issues for like acrylic that I've noticed myself as an owner. But it is one that's been being worked on behind the scenes, and like we have a lot of cool stuff going on. Um, so hopefully all that comes to fruition soon. But yeah, like I'd say that's the main thing. Um, and then I will say also, like creator consistency can be a big thing. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you are a content driven org, um, like thankfully in acrylic all of our creators lately have been like amazing with that, but
Mm-hmm.
like last year we had a bunch of creators that just like straight up were not really doing much content wise, and like that is an issue that I see with a lot of organizations and a
Oh
lot of their
yeah.
creators where they'll like sign them and then they just like don't do anything. um and thankfully in acrylic we've gotten a lot better with that. Like we really push our creators to be like, hey, like this is what we expect, like we will promote you, let's get this done, let's get to work, like let's figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a big thing, and I'm super grateful for that, that our like content has improved so much because of that, like at least our creators. Yeah, that's an issue that we ran into back in the day where like creator consistency was a massive problem for a long time.
Yeah, content creation for me, I struggle with that, and a lot of it was like a lot of people didn't want to like sign to a team, like they didn't see like the advantage to
uh,
signing to the team.
yeah,
They would think like, oh, we can do this on our own. There's no need to be uh, kind of attached to a team. And I said, well, you're going to get us along with you guys, and then your guys are going to come to us, and we're just going to form one big together, and you can work with other content creators, stream together, and then communities come
yeah,
together and collide, and that's going to be great. But I never seen. I would thought that would be like the easiest thing to get. And heck, if you just go to Twitch and been like, "Hey, do you want to sign with my organization?" Like just going out and recruiting for them, and they'd be like, "No, I'm not interested." Are you kidding me? I'm trying to help you grow, and uh,
yeah.
that's the one big thing I've seen. I've talked to. I don't know if you know Scrappy from Chaos Esports. Uh,
I might.
I did
I've
a
I've worked with him I think before. Yeah, that sounds very
yeah. His
familiar.
name's Scrappy Doo. He is also a co-owner of the U18 COD League too.
Okay.
I don't know if you dip into that at all.
I
Um,
used to cast for it. Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, you used to cast too.
Yeah. I used to do a lot.
I had the gaming chef on if you ever uh, on the
Oh, I know
podcast.
he works with Graph a lot, so I've
Oh yeah.
I've I've definitely heard about him. I don't think I've ever worked with him personally.
I've had him on a couple times back in Vanguard or Cold War. He's kind of been out of the scene. I mean, he works with a lot of people, but Graf's really been like the biggest amateur guy I've seen. But
Yeah.
Scrappy Doo, like I was saying, for content creation, he says he signs anybody. He doesn't have no requirements, uh, which it's kind
Mm,
of, in my opinion, I can see where he's coming from because he says if you want to create, you're going to create, and you're going to do what you want, and like we'll push it whenever you do it. But the thing is the inconsistency with me. So like Galaxy, they've bumped up theirs. So like you have to have like a total of 500 social media followers, or maybe it's 1,000 now. But you have to have like a total of a certain amount of members. But uh, which it limits the content creation people see. But they did sign one really big guy. He averages like 50 to 100 people a stream, which is really good. Dark
that is
Alpha, that's
great.
his
Yeah.
name. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he runs a lot of Rebirth and Warzone, and but I've never seen that for like an org. I've kind of seen it for smaller teams, but like I said, content creation's been hard to find for organizations.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult thing to find. Although I don't agree with Scrappy on like him signing a bunch of like people basically having no requirements. I don't agree with that. Um, like at Acrylic, we don't have like a follower minimum or anything.
Mm-hmm.
What we typically scout for is like, do we think they have the dedication to it,
Mm-hmm.
to like succeed? Like, do they have the drive? But also, is their content like already a decent quality and like can we help improve it?
Mm-hmm.
um but like we will like I can personally test this because I've done content. I did content for like a decade before I like stopped really.
Mm-hmm.
um but like we look for that, like are they going to have, do they have potential really is what
Yep.
we look for. um and that's like the most important thing, because what's it called, like one of our creators, Optical, hold on, let me pull up his channel. It's been a little bit down lately viewer wise, but like the guy when he joined Acrylic had like 10 subs. And
Mm-hmm.
now he's almost at 1,000. He's at like 870. Had several videos like break like 50, like not, I think 50K. Yeah. Let me
Hell
see.
yeah.
Oh no, he had like one 100K view video, like three, four over like 2K. Like yeah, no, he killed it. And his channel's seen a complete surge. And that's because we saw him, we were like, this guy has potential, and we helped guide him and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think that's a big thing. Um, and yeah, so look for potential. Also, organizations. This is a call to all organizations. Please have someone in your like management that has done content before,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, sometimes your creators need help and like guidance on like, hey, I don't know what to do for like, how do I improve my content?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've worked in content before, you can help them out. Like what's it called, on all of our creators, I personally will take like notes on their videos if they need help, and I'll give them that feedback and be like, this is what to improve, this is all this. And then you see it work, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. But like a lot of organizations are just like, okay, you're signed, now go do your own thing and don't bother us.
Exactly.
Like just give us followers basically, and we're not gonna help you. And that's not the right mentality. Please help your creators.
Yeah.
But like that's necessary for a healthy organization and for them to succeed as well as you.
Yeah, by all means, help your creators. I mean, you brought them on to help you. You need to help them. Repost their stuff, send it out, send it to, I don't know, just try to market their stuff. They're coming to you for you to market them, because if they get bigger and they're putting on their stream or have like a logo on their stream, I'm part of for say Galaxy
Galaxy,
Gaming
acrylic, yeah,
or
whatever,
Acrylic.
yeah.
I'm a part of this, or Chaos, Galaxy, Acrylic, and I'm a part of them. Go check them out. They do this, or like if you do community events, like they do game night every night on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time or
Yeah.
whatever. Go check them out. You might want to join. They do eights too. You can check them out. It's a really fun time, and a lot of people just don't push them. And I'm like, why sign the creator if you're not going to push them? Like, at the bare minimum, repost their stuff. I mean, like,
Yes, agree
repost everything.
100%.
And like, I've seen
Yeah.
orgs where they say they picked them up and then they don't repost anything. I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like,
Yeah. Like what was even the point of signing the person? Like
exactly. You
what are we
took the
doing?
time to sign, write something up to do it, and then have an interview with them, and then you do that. And I mean, come on. But like when I talked to Dangerous when I first started, he wanted me to like get my follower count up. And that really made me want to get into marketing for my social media, and I grew it. It was, I think I had a total of like 490 something. I grew that to over 1,500 followers across all platforms, including Discord, which
Oh,
is,
nice.
I did that within a month and a half, which is fairly well. Because my TikTok, it had hit, so this is the weirdest thing. How I grew a little bit for on TikTok. Roblox went down, and I decided to stream it, and I had over 1 million people come into the stream, and then I had 3,000 followers that started following me from that stream, which has helped me out tremendously. When people look at my videos, I get more views every time I post anything, and it's really helped out a lot. And a lot of people don't see it, but TikTok is the way to go if you want to stream. And
Yeah. Agreed.
It's really TikTok's a new platform. I mean, if it gets banned, it gets banned. I mean, they're still talking about getting banned, but if you want to grow, you got to get on TikTok and really grow.
Get on as many social medias as possible is what I will say. Like the big ones, obviously. Like upload to YouTube, upload like stream on Twitch, stream on TikTok, upload clips to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Like diversify as much as possible and like spread your reach as far as possible.
Hmm.
Um, like a lot of creators will only upload on like one thing or only stream on one platform, and then there's like you're not growing, and it's like, oh my gosh, why? And it's like because you're not expanding your reach. Like those guys that see you on TikTok and like your clips,
Hmm.
maybe are gonna go watch your streams, or if you stream on TikTok, they're gonna go watch your streams there already because you are uploading clips there, and it's easy to find.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, make your content easy to find. Get your reach out there as much as possible, and also obviously keep it high quality. That's like the biggest thing. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that's a thing that a lot of people could be better at. Like a lot of small creators, and that's something that a lot of them struggle with is not really having a big reach because they don't upload to different platforms. Like they're very much so one platform, and it's like that doesn't work.
Yeah, I when I do my clips, I go and post them. First, I go to TikTok, then I go to Instagram Reels, and then I go to YouTube Shorts, and I do it every time. Post all three platforms. I thought about, I did talk to the gaming chef, and he said that he's kind of switched to YouTube live streams, and then that's kind of helped him out to grow a little bit. So I might even dip my foot into that water a little bit. Try
Yeah,
streaming in YouTube. I don't know if it's any good or if you heard anything about it, but I've never really heard anybody watching YouTube lives, in my opinion.
they're not. It's not as big of a streaming platform as like Twitch. It's like the second biggest.
Hmm.
Actually probably third behind TikTok Live as well. But like out of the two like main ones that you would watch on like PC, YouTube is definitely the second largest. But solid from what I've heard. I used to stream on it way back in the day, but it was really shitty back in the day. I've heard they've improved it a bunch. Um, so I think that's like a solid thing. If you can multi-stream, I'd say multi-stream to Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube Live, and just
Hmm.
like I said, get your reach as far out as possible. Like stream to the big three. I personally don't like Kick or Rumble, like especially Rumble. I always
I've
talk
never
shit, but
tried
like
Kick.
Kick is very meh, and like the people on it are trash.
I think those are
Like,
just all like the Twitch rejects. Like if you got
they are.
banned or
They
like
really
if
are.
you got banned or something, you're going the kick, or like if you got a kick deal, then you're going the kick. You know.
Yeah, I think that's only you go there for money or if you got banned. Um, but yeah, so like stream to the big three though, like YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Stream to those. That's what I would advise. Um, because I think that's just like a really good way of getting as much viewership as possible and getting as many people seeing your channel as possible.
And you really can't just strictly stream to Twitch either, because if you do, look, there's tons of one viewer streamers, and you could
Yep.
scroll and scroll through them, and like you can't make yourself look known in those. You just can't. But if you go
Yeah.
to TikTok, people are scrolling in, or you're posting on there, and you have followers on there, and then you tell them to come over to Twitch, which I've been banned on TikTok before, which the weirdest stuff ever. Like,
Yep.
and I don't even know how, but like I just got unbanned yesterday. I got banned for sexual exploitation and gender-based violence.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know how the hell I got banned for that, because I even went back and watched the full stream. I said, "There's no way I can get banned." And sometimes you can submit an appeal, but when you submit an appeal so many times, you can't submit it anymore. So then I got a
Oh my
strike on
god.
my account from it. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I can't even, like, I tried customer support, and I even looked it up. There's no human customer support for TikTok. There's
Yeah, I
only
imagine it's
AI.
all automated. Yeah.
It's all automated, and if you want to submit an appeal through customer support, you can't do it. So if they don't give you the option, you might as well kiss them, because you're already screwed at that point. So
Jeez.
I mean, if they want to ban you, they're going to ban you. That's just how it is. I mean, there's no sides on that either. So you really
Yeah,
got
I
to
mean that's
watch what
just
you say. Just like the smallest thing, like um, you can't say the R word, or you can't say the G word. Even if you're just saying it, like if you're talking about something about the G word, you can't even say it. Uh, Like if you're talking about LGBT, you can't even say the G in LGBT. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's so stupid.
And like just talking about it, you can't. Like if you call something it, obviously that's worse, but you can't even talk about it. You can't even
That's
say the
insane.
word. And like if someone's sexual preference is that, you can't even say that.
That's crazy. I actually
Um,
didn't know that. That's insane.
but if you say you're straight, you're fine. But if you say the G word, you're screwed. No matter what, it's just automated, and it'll even come up it'll be like a minute to 2 minutes later. It'll just say you have been banned for uh, harassment or hate speech.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just like, you got to be kidding me.
That's so fucking stupid, actually. Oh my god.
And I'll just start going off. So TikTok, you really got to watch yourself. You got
Yeah,
to,
it's a heavily censored platform.
if you want to
Compared to like
rage,
YouTube.
don't be on TikTok. Why do you think like the biggest ragers like Queso and Jinxie aren't streaming the TikTok? You know, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they would be banned within an instant. But uh, one of the big things is to bring viewers over.
Yes.
Because you can't gain viewers on Twitch. It's a heavily big platform, but uh, one thing I always say is if I miss your message, I'm sorry. Come to Twitch. There's not a lot of viewers on Twitch. I'll see
I'm
your.
more likely to see
I'm
it.
more
Yeah.
likely to see your message than I will on TikTok.
Yeah. 100%.
But a lot of small streamers, they rather do it for fun, or they just aren't dedicated like other people are.
Yeah.
And I mean that's just thinning out the herd for everybody, but just making it easier on everybody, I guess. But I don't know. Call of Duty, I don't stream that at all. That's one of the hardest things to stream, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah. I
'Cause
don't think it's difficult to stand out as well, and because it's such an oversaturated pool of creators. Like there's so many people streaming that game.
you got to rather be super good or you got to
Super funny.
be super funny. There's no in between. And usually if you're super funny, people aren't going to notice you. And
Yeah.
a lot of Call of Duty, if you're streaming, you're either a popular streamer or you compete. That's one of the
Yep.
two. And I mean, I do hear people give those people a lot of crap about it, that you're only big because you compete and you're good at the game. Well, people want to see people that are good. People want to get better. You know, they want to be a part of it. But I don't know. It's just Twitch. I mean, sorry about your luck, but
Yeah.
because people say you got famous from Roblox or you got popular from Roblox or you gained viewers from Roblox. That's not my fault. I mean, that's just how
Yeah.
it
I just
happens.
got the views. I don't know why you're upset.
I mean, I'm sorry. I found niche. I mean, if you look at Roblox, there's the top view people that stream there have like 1,500 viewers. The next one has like 30. It's such a non-saturated pool. Literally, I've been top 5 streamers on Roblox probably once a week,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
which it's pretty good because if you click on the program and usually the top person is Spanish, and then the second one's Russian, Mexican, and then you have American, and then another American. Then there's me. I'm like, so it's very easy to find my platform,
Yeah. You're
and
not buried.
you can't get buried. So a lot of people they want to stream like big games because that's what they want to play. But I'm like, if you want to make it in streaming, if you look at Queso, if you ever
Yeah.
heard of the Queso story, he literally says in a podcast with Jinxie, all I had to do was get one more clip of this to go famous, and then I could play any game I want. All I had
Yeah.
to do is play this game. I don't even enjoy this game. I just have to play this game, and once it goes viral, I can play any game I want. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what happens, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, 100%. Once you have that like base community, you can play whatever, but you have to have like a big enough base to where like you'll be supported no matter what you do. And like Queso, like all the big creators, whatever they stream, they can stream whatever they want. Like genuinely, they can stream fucking like anything because they have that community. But you have to sometimes wade through like the shitty period of like just kind of making content you don't really want to have to make to then be able to make the content that you actually enjoy
Oh, yeah.
on anything. Like that's something that I always have to tell like in acrylic like our creators where I'm like, look, you got to stick with what you're doing because if it's working, it's working. You got to run with it until like you got a big enough community. Then do whatever the hell you want. But like run with what works until like you're set, basically.
And one of my biggest things I cannot emphasize: do not go to the support for support discords. They
Yeah.
don't work. As soon as you leave, no people stay. The
Yep.
only person I've seen it work is a girl. Her name's Bearably. She started streaming when I started consistently streaming back in December last year. I remember when she had 30 followers. I think I was one of her, like, I think I was her 13th follower. Now she has like 2 point, maybe 4,000 followers now, and she averages like 100 to 200 people a stream. She's really done a lot, but she put in the work. She said she would stay up. I think she'd stay up at like 24 hours at least 3 times a week, and
Oh
she'd just
damn.
be supporting people. She'd have like 4 monitors, her iPad and her phone, all on other people's stream talking, and she'd consistently type, and she'd be interacting, and then she'd be in multiple discords. But she put in the time, and I mean, she gained it. I mean, obviously a year later, she's looking great for what she did, but it's hard to do that. I mean, obviously, I'm just gonna say it. Girls have a better chance of streaming than there is guys, unless you're funny. I'm just gonna say that because guys are
Yeah.
guys.
Guys are guys. I think the humor can sometimes not appeal as much, and then also there's a benefit to being a woman. Okay. In that aspect, but also there's just less female streamers than there are male. So like you're not as drowned out by saturation in the market. Which is a big benefit, I'd say.
And you get a lot of the other female viewers because a lot of them feel more at home when they have.
Yeah,
Uh,
supporting fellow female streamers. Yeah.
oh yeah, and she's been in the support discords, and hell, she doesn't even have to be in the support discords anymore. I can't wait to have her on the podcast to talk about it, but she's grown a lot, and I couldn't put in that dedication. I remember she had like some type of surgery, and then she was off work for a certain while, so she put in the time to do it, and then now she like works a part-time job and streams, I'm pretty sure,
Oh
which
wow.
is a hell of a job, really, if
Yeah,
you
no,
can
that's
do that.
insane.
That she put in the work while she was off work, and I was like, there's no way I would stay up 24 hours just being on every single stream that I could possibly be in and keep active conversations. Because I don't know how you do it. Have active conversations with 8 different people at once. There's just
Yeah,
no
I
way.
have no idea. Like I can barely watch more than 2 streams at once.
Yeah,
Like
that's
8
insane.
is crazy. Massive credit to her. That is an insane. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh yeah,
That deserves a massive tip of the hat. Like,
yeah, exactly.
genuinely.
But I don't know. Content creation's kind of my go-to at this point. I mean, I've kind of dipped around in everything. I've dipped around esports. I've dipped around the content creation. Obviously, I do push content creation a lot, especially if you can't really make it in esports. Because, like you said, if you don't have the funding, you're going to most likely fail, and it's sad to see people fail too.
Oh,
Uh,
it's terrible. The amount of organizations I see fail annually, like, sucks. I remember putting out a tweet at the very start of like Black Ops 6 where I'm like, I wonder how many organizations that are going to be competing in this are going to be folded by the end of it because it's so expensive and people don't realize that.
and the
Um,
biggest stretch is like March to summer break next year. That's the biggest
yep,
stretch,
yep,
and that can really be the killer for your team. And
yep.
sometimes summer can really kill it too because people leave.
Yeah, people aren't watching as much. Like especially because like CDL ends around then.
Hmm.
Um, the competitive scene kind of stops for a little bit outside of like the very rare lands. Outside of those, there's not really many leagues going on or anything. So yeah, I mean that it's a big like, will the organization survive through that? Where there's like nothing going on, and a lot of the time, sadly, it's a no. Um, but hey, again, just hopefully, I'm rooting for all the organizations out there. Like, hopefully, y'all make it. Like, genuinely, I've been doing acrylic for 3 years. Um, we have definitely this is our best year by far.
Hmm.
Um, and like we plan on continuing to go for far into the future. And I hope that all the other like small org owners can like look at the story of acrylic and like they get to where we are. Because I'm not gonna lie, Acrylic, first 2 years, we were broke as shit. Honestly, still we're broke as shit, but like we're better. We have some money. Um, but like we were able to ride it out and like slowly but surely build up over time. And I hope the best for all those other organizations that are in a similar financial spot as we were back in the day, um, and like are able to find that success like we were. Um, Actually, I'm going to give one piece of advice to those organization owners. Please, for the love of God, don't spend like all your money. Like, don't go all out because there's so many organizations that go all in to like sign the best rosters or whatever, or like get into like 1,000 leagues, and then they have no money left over, and then they can't run the organization. So be smart with your money. The way Acrylic grew, we played in like very small leagues early on, built relationships with players that way, slowly started getting into lands. It started off like maybe 1 or 2 lands a year. Now it's like 6, 7 lands a year.
Hmm.
Um, but like be smart with your money. Only spend what you know you can afford, and that will still allow the organization to keep running. And just just be intelligent about it, and like that's the biggest thing. I see a lot of organizations overspend way too quickly, and then they wonder why they fizzle out, and it's like you used up all your money, bro. I Just be smart with your money.
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's all I can say.
And another piece of advice I've had people say that if you know you're going to fail and you get the opportunity to merge, take it. I didn't take the
Yeah,
opportunity. I had the opportunity to merge with Vigor, and they are a very big gaming organization. Uh, and I probably would have been. I think I was going to be like some type of manager for them or a general manager, and I ended up not taking it. And I said, "This is my team. I believe in them. Don't be ego. Don't have an ego. Is what I should say. Don't have an ego. Know when the time has come. I mean, I seen it was falling apart. I knew I could maybe bring it back." But here's the thing: if you have a completely dead team, you got to completely revive it. But if you have the opportunity to go and do better things with somebody that's already done it, go ahead and do it.
take that opportunity. Yeah,
Take an opportunity.
I I agree 100%. Like, yeah, I think that's some great advice. Like, if you know you're not getting out of that hole, take that opportunity because one, it gives your organization a chance to potentially find success under a new brand umbrella. Also gives you some time to reset and also see how other organizations are run and like get some ideas from that. And then maybe you can go spin off onto your own organization again. Um, that's a big thing. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. I will say there was a time where Acrylic almost actually merged with another organization, Skyline.
Mm-hmm.
This was like in my senior year of high school. We didn't, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like right there. But I was like, I have faith in Acrylic to like grow and like succeed. And then later that year, we went to our first LAN and all that. And ever since then, it's been an upwards trajectory. But yeah, really, it's if you have faith in your team, stick by it. If you think that's over, merge, take that opportunity to learn, and then take that into your next organization or whatever. That's my advice on that.
Yeah, especially like for me, I seen the team falling apart, and I had a few teams. I was recruiting for teams, and I had like 2 or 3 teams left for other games. I was already out 2 or 3 teams for what I had, and I was like, I told him, I said, "Am I going to be the owner?" I was cocky and ego. I had an ego when I was younger. I even told him, and we were friends too. And I said, "Am I going to be the owner?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The owner of Vigor," and he said, "No, obviously not." I said, "Then I don't want it." I was cocky and I had the ego. I didn't take it like an idiot. And hell, I'd probably be at lands right now. But if you see the negatives, and you got to think about worst case scenario. If I lost all my teams, which I did, and you got to build back up from square one. You got to cut all those teams up and do one at a time. You got to build back from square up. And I
Yep.
had no general managers. All my general managers were gone. Uh, I had to really think, do I want to do this all again? You're starting from square one. You have the foundation, but you're going to be recruiting. If you don't have no
Yep.
recruiter or scouts, you're going to be going right back to where you are. Um,
Yep.
and if you don't have that drive, you need to merge. Because if you merge, you have better opportunities. And I always say loyalty is my biggest thing. So if you can be loyal and work hard, you can maybe work up to maybe a co-owner or administrator into the other organization, and like you said, know how other people run their orgs, and then if you ever get out of that org, you can always go to your own and do your own thing. But honestly, my personal opinion, owning orgs is you have to have some type of
crazy
funding.
drive.
You have to have a drive.
Funding, and you also have to have a drive to like succeed no matter what. Like no matter what the cost is. That's a big thing. Yeah, you just got to be willing to stick by it through the hard times. That's like a massive thing.
Because there will be hard times. There's no. There's always hard times because it's just. It's the start of a new COD. I said it before. When you go to new CODs, you're going to keep a full team, or you're going to be finding a full new team.
Yep.
And that can really be a killer for new orgs too. And I hate to see amateur orgs. Like, if you don't start at the right time, you're screwed. You got to start going into a season. So, like, this is the best time to start an org right now because you have a whole season of prep.
Agreed, 100%.
Because if you start it, like, I don't know, August, September, that's going to be kind of hard. Like, say you start in August, it's going to be kind of hard to keep that team, and then you're going to be going into the next Call of Duty. If you can keep that team going in the next Call of Duty, you're doing pretty good. But you can kind of lose that drive and see a hard time right away, which I hate to see people do that, to see that hard ship as soon as they start the team. And that can really be the killer.
100%. Yeah, definitely. That can be absolutely brutal. 100%.
Yep, I don't know. But obviously, you got to have a drive. If you don't have a drive, maybe look into administration roles or, like you said, compete when you're young. Compete till, I don't know, you have until you're like in your 30s. That's probably about it. But once you're 30, you're kind of almost done at that point. So maybe look into administration roles at that point if you still want to be in esports or cast, or like me, I do podcasts. Like I'm almost completely out of esports. I'm still with Galaxy, but obviously I kind of like administration, but it's kind of hard to do content creation and that. So I may eventually step away from that and do just content creation or be a content creator for a certain team, and try to be like their main content creator. Obviously, I don't want to be like a secondary content creator. So like, I don't know. That's just how I want to roll at this point. But I don't know. So what's the future for Acrylic before we hop off here? What's the future looking like for you?
So we got the Vegas land on January, oh my god, I think it's like 3rd through 5th. So we're going to be at that, figuring out the roster for that still. I have some, hopefully, content plans coming down the pipeline. Obviously, the documentary we shot in Columbus, that will be coming very soon. That's currently being worked on. And so be on the lookout for that. As always, follow the Acrylic socials at Acrylic HQ. And yeah, so got a bunch of cool shit going on. So what's it called? Also, the One Shot League is starting. Acrylic's going to be competing in that. That's like a franchise-based league, so that's actually going to be really fun. And yeah, so got a few big things coming down the pipeline there. And yeah, that's all I can really say right now. I don't want to give too much away. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty much everything going on. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's
very exciting.
That's exciting to hear for you, especially for a 19-year-old running his own team, and that can really be. I don't know. I don't know if you're in college or not. But,
I am, yeah.
So yeah, that has to be very time-consuming, especially with college, unless you're doing it at home or not. But otherwise,
it can be difficult. Yeah, I travel to campus and everything. Yeah, it can be a lot of time being spent. But
yeah, you might be in the middle of class and you're having shit happening. You're like, I need to be on my phone right now, and
genuinely, I've had the amount of times that's happened where I've had to hop into like management group chats and be like, hey, what's going on, like mid class, and like responding to shit way too much. It's very funny.
I like being in the middle of high school class. I'm like, can you guys chill the fuck out for like 10 minutes? I'm in class. I'll be in next class. I can talk. Chill out.
100%.
But like I said, it was great
Good
having you
times.
on, my man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'd love to come back sometime in the future. This was an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. It was great to have you on, and like any socials you like to hit for yourself, and obviously you hit your orgs, but any for yourself and stuff like that.
Follow me on Twitter. It's acrylic_golden. I post there. Generally it's positive shit. It's pretty vibey. So just go follow that. Also follow my podcast, Two Nerds One Cast. You can find that also on my Twitter. So super easy to find all my shit. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me on this podcast. It
Hmm.
was an absolute blast. And yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody coming on. I'll see you guys in the next one, or you guys can catch me obviously Real Blue Star Gaming at everything besides Twitter because they think Real Blue Star Gaming is too long, so it's _Real Blue Star _. I am live every night 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.